Wake up.
I can hear you.
Hey, Denise.
How may I help you?
When is the next movie down at the community theater?
All right, let me take a look for you. The next movie playing at the Time Community Theater will be on Saturday, March 12th, 2016. The name of the movie is Highlander. It stars Christopher Lambert, Sean Connery, and Clancy Brown.
Go to sleep.
Entering sleep mode. Say wake up to start recognition.
Now that is an example of a web scrape for Denise. Here's another example. Wake up.
I can hear you.
Could you take a look at the Chase account for me, please?
Okay, just give me a second to check. You have $3.99 in the Chase account.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I'll be here if you need me.
Go to sleep.
Entering sleep mode. Say wake up to start recognition.
Now, if you saw my last video, you remember this folder I had right here. And those are two functions I added to it. One of them was right here, chase.exe, and the other one was timetheater.exe. And you see that they're only about 1 megabyte big. They only run for about 12 to 15 seconds. And they feed Denise the information she needs to complete the request that you asked. They are a standalone program. They'll run on any computer, even without AutoHotkey installed. So I thought I would take the time and show you how I make these and show you an example. And what you need are these four tools. Well, let's go back to the basics. First, what you need is AutoHotkey. You have to download it, install it, and then you need this little program. And it's just an AutoHotkey editor. It's just a fancy notepad, actually, but it has a lot of little cool features to it. And if you Google it and you go to here, the actual download is in this link down here, and there's an installer and there's a portable version as well. And then the other program you need, which is this one here, is in this link, and it's right here. When you click that, it downloads and you just drag it right to your desktop. And these are the three tools you have, or that you need. So I was going to show you how this works. Say when I first open this is the editor. And there's a lot of cool functions that exist in here. But this is another little script that runs along beside it. And when you run it, it provides all the tools to do web scraping with. So let's give an example right here. Our example, we're going to find out how many unread emails we have on our Gmail account. So the first thing you want to do, as long as this script is running alongside this, you can push Control and your left key down, and it pulls up these right here. And these are just web scraping tools. So the first thing we would do is create an object. This is an instance of Internet Explorer inside of a variable, but we've made its visibility true, so we'll be able to see what it is. Next, what we'd want to do is navigate to a page. So we say navigate, so then by default it goes to google.com. Anytime you do any navigation, important thing you want to do is wait for the page to load. Very important. Now once the page is loaded, I usually go right down here to the bottom here and put in a line right here so you never forget it, because it's very important never to forget this line. PWB dot, and just put the word quit, followed by your two parentheses. You always want to put this quit in here anytime you create an instance of Internet Explorer. If you don't, that instance will continue to run in the background over and over. So now we have this, and we can actually test this right now. So this little blue button here is the go button. It's going to ask me for a name to save it, so we can always be called back up. So for now, we're just going to call it Gmail. Now it's going to run, it's going to open to Google, and then it's going to close. That's exactly what we want. Now I'm going to put a message box right here. And this message box, what it'll do is just stop the script from continuing. So we won't have it quit. That'll keep our window open. And since we're going to do Gmail, what we want to do is change our address up here. So I'm going to change it to Gmail. Now when we open this up, we're going to get a window. And a message box. Now I'll move this out of the way. Now on our message box, what you want to do, you want it to open to your inbox. You'll probably get a sign in. Once you sign in, your password, click the box that says keep me signed in, so that anytime you run the script, it opens directly to your inbox. Now that we've got this, what we want to do is see how many unread emails we have. I got 3 right here, 3 right here. This is the tag I'd like to bring back. Now this is where this little tool comes in handy. When you open it up, it grabs a handle onto this instance of Internet Explorer. And I can just grab these crosshairs and drag it to where I want. Now if I look right here, this is kind of what I want. This is the smallest I can get. And it's going to return a tag that says A42. And now I know from experience that A tags are not always static tags. This number may change. So several things. We can look at the parent structure. That was clicking this little thing here. And we can click this and see what parts light up. Different parts control different things. If you go way up in here, you get big blocks. So anything that says DIB, I always take. Because DIBs, they pretty much stay static. So you right click and you can say use this element. Now that gives you this right here, DIB 213. Now I'm going to close this here and show you that if we would have just went here but went to the next one out, there's our DIB 213. So I'm going to close this, which closes our window there. And we leave this alone here. Right down here, we want to pull that tag back. So I'm going to hit Control and left click again. And I want to get from page. And this happens to be a tag name array. So I'm going to click that. And that automatically fills in all your syntax that you need for that. All we need to do is change our tag name. So DIB, you leave the quotation marks in there. We back up. And we do DIB. And since we already have a 13 here, we'll just stick a 2. Now, if I run this right now, it's going to fail because of a common mistake I've made many, many times, and it's this word right here. I'm not looking for a value, I'm looking for inner text. This can be a lot of things. You can get outer text, you can get table arrays, you can do a lot of stuff. I'm just going to do inner text. And right here, since we have a message box, I'm going to make it show me what that does. So I'm going to pay bar. And this is how you display what's in a variable when you use a message box. Now what it's going to do is pull back that tag and put it in this variable, which we call VAR. It's more of a traditional symbol for variable. And we should be able to see that return. Now I hit go. Alright, what it did, it returned in that variable in box with 3. Now it's not going to be too useful for Denise, so we need to do some modification to this. Right now I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to trim this string. This is actually a string. I'm going to trim it 7 spaces from the left, and I'm going to trim 1 space from the right, leaving just the 3. So all we have to do is say string, let's just put in str, and this will bring you right to it. String trim left. Now when I hit the comma, you'll see the parameters for it show up that you need for in there. This will be where you're getting it from, where it's going to, and how many spaces you want to trim it. So we want to keep it in the same variable. So we'll say bar, comma, and we wanted to trim it 7 spaces, so we put a 7. Now on the next line, we want to trim that right parenthesis off. So we do kind of the same thing, but we're going to do it on the right side now. And here we're going to use the same variable, of course, and we're going to trim it 1. Now I've trimmed the left sides by 7, the right side by 1, and let's go see what it brings back. And it brings back the number 3, which is exactly what we were looking for. Now we need to decide how we want Denise to save what's going on here. So just for the sake of saving typing, because I don't type very fast, I went ahead and pasted or copied this so that I can just paste it. And we're going to paste this right in here. Now basically what this is if bar says nothing, if it equals nothing, then we're going to declare a new variable. This will be our common denominator. So if bar is 0, then bar 2 is going to be, now this is an expression, so you use a colon with the equals. You do not have any emails at this time. But if that bar has 1, then we want variable 2 to say you have, and that's probably going to be a 1, if everything's working good, unread email. Then we're going to say if that variable is greater than 1, then variable 2 equals you have, and that's going to be more than 1 unread emails, plural. So we can test that right now. If I hit go, three. Okay, you see what I did wrong. We put everything in variable 2, so we need to change this message box to variable 2 now. So now we go. Alright, you have 3 unread emails. Now you see I need some spacing here. I need a space between there and there. So let's correct that. We can just say right here after have, I'll put a space, and after this quote in between here, I'll put a space. And we might as well correct that right up here, because we know we're going to get the same results up there and right there. Alright, now let's run it and see if everything looks good. You have 3 unread emails. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now, what we need to do is we want to make that instance of Internet Explorer invisible. We want to turn the light out on it. So we're going to say that its visible is false. Now when you run it, you won't see that. However, AutoHotkey needs to know if it needs to look for windows that are not visible or hidden windows. So we add detect hidden windows. And when I hit the comma, you'll see the parameters are on or off. So I'm just going to say on. Now when I run this, we should get only our message and nothing else. You have 3 unread emails. Alright, now I'm pretty sure we'll test the rest of these later. Our problem now is going to be, how do you get it to Denise? Well, let's start a new one. A new one here. I'm going to click down a few times. And it's time to introduce you to the template. The template is the other tool that I use. And what I'm going to do is just take and copy everything right here. Raise her up a little bit. Right. I'll copy that and paste that right in here. Any old place will do. Now this is the bare minimum of what it needs to make Denise speak a phrase. You can use this template over and over, and it contains everything it needs to set your username and password and retrieve it. And once it's done, then everyone that you create will read its same username and password off of that. So the first time you run this, it's going to ask for your username and password for Denise, and what she will speak is whatever is in this variable right here. So I'll show you an example. I'm going to run it right now, and we got to give it a name. So I'm just going to call it D and say save. Now it's going to ask me for my username and password for Denise. That's fine, and password. That's it, and that's the only time you have to do that. Now, Denise is not going to say anything because this variable is an empty container right now. So let's say if I wanted to assign it something. Let's say var equals hi there. Now when I run it,
Hi there.
she'll say it, whatever is in this variable. So we could even change that. Let's go fine. Hi there, I'm fine. Read it.
Hi there. I'm fine.
Okay, so you know this, all you do is just assign something in a variable and the rest of the script takes care of everything. So I'm gonna get rid of that, and all we have to do is just take and copy everything on here and go back to our original, and right below everything we paste it. Now since everything comes back in variable 2, I'm going to comment this message box out for a moment. Then we want what she says to be in variable 2. So this is the API call for that, agent speak. All we do is change this to a number 2. Now let's hear what Denise says.
You have 3 unread emails.
Alright, so that worked. Now let's try something just to make sure everything works good. Let's go to my Gmail account here real quick and take away one. We'll take this and say, we'll mark that as read. Push this down. Wake up.
I can hear you.
Hey Denise.
How may I help you?
Go to sleep.
Entering sleep mode. Say wake up to start recognition.
Now when I click on this, I should just have 2 emails left.
You have 2 unread emails.
Alright, now let's go down here to this. Let's take this one and mark this one as, oops. Alright, now let's just run it now.
You have 1 unread email.
Alright, and now just for the final test, alright, just for that, we'll do that. And now when we run it,
You do not have any unread emails at this time.
go to sleep. That was just in case I hadn't told her already. Alright, now all we need to do is change this into a standalone program. So what I usually do is I'll just make a new AutoHotkey script over here, and I go to edit it, move down a couple lines, and come back over here, and I'll just copy everything out of this, and close it. And paste everything right here and close it. And just run it one time to see if it works.
You do not have any unread emails at this time.
Very good. Now if we want to compile that, we go to our auto hotkey file, and in the bottom here there's one called Convert It to EXE. I just click that, and all we have to do is browse to that, go to the desktop, and it's a new auto hotkey. It has to be this one. We open, and we decide where we want to put it. So we're going to put it on the desktop, and we're going to call it Gmail. And this is important, you have to put .exe. We save that, and now let's choose an icon. I have a bunch of them, they're free. I downloaded one. Here's one for Gmail. We'll open that, and we say convert. Conversion's complete, and we close this. Now you could discard this. We can just delete this script. We don't want it no more. We got a Gmail one right now. So now when I click this,
You do not have any unread emails at this time.
well, let's choose a few. Let's go here. And I'll just grab a few of them for the heck of it. And we're going to say mark as unread. And I can close this. That was what, 6 of them? Alright, now let's run the Gmail checker.
You have 6 unread emails.
Alright, so you see that works pretty well. And I got some other examples, but that's just kind of a beginner. Let me know what you think.